Hello my dear friends, today we're learning Baba Basra Daf Kuf Nun Beis. We're going to start straight at the top of the page. Itmar Matna Shchimera Shekatu Bakinyan Bei Rav Mishmei de Rav Amri Arke Ve'atei Richshi V'Shmuel Amar Lo Yadane Ma Yadun Ba Bei Rav Mishmei de Rav Amri Arke Ve'atei Richshi Arei Kimat Natbari Arei Kimat Nashchimera Arei Kimat Natbari Shim Amad Ino Chozer Arei Kimat Nashchimera Shim Amar Alva'ato Leploni Alva'ato Leploni שהוא אמר לאדן מעדון בה שמא לא גמר להקנתו אלא בשטר ואין שטר לאחר מיתה. ורמי דרבא דרב ודשמואל דשמואל דשלח רבין משמי דרב אבו ידי ששלח רב אלעזר לגולה משום רבנו שכיב נראה שאמר כתבו ותנו מלא לפלוני ומת אין כותבים ונותנים שמא לא גמר להקנתו אלא בשטר ואין שטר לאחר מיתה. ואמר רב יהודה אמר שמואל הלכת הכותבים ונותנים כאשר דרבא דרב כאשר דשמואל דשמואל דרבא דרב לא קשיא הדה לא קונו מיני דשמואל דשמואל לא קשיא ומייפק את כוחו. יתיב רב נחמן בר יצחק אחורי דרבא ויתיב רבא קמא דרב נחמן כבאי מיני מי אמר שמואל לא גמר להקנתו אלא בשטר ואין שטר לאחר מיתה. ואמר רב יהודה אמר שמואל שכיב שכתב כל נכסיו לאחרים אף על פי שקנו מידו עמד חוזר. עמוד בייס, וידוע שלא היה קניין אלא מחמאת הביתה, ואחווה בידי ואשתי, כי קם אמר רב נחמן בר יצחק לרב, מה יחווה לך? אמר לי במפה את כוחו, איך ידע במפה את כוחו? אמר חיסדה וקנין מיני מוסיף על מתן תדה. So after we learned this whole sugya, we read it inside, now we're going to explain it outside. So we learned matna shchimera, that it says normally a matna shchimera is just says, he's saying I'm giving it to so and so my possessions. Here, he wrote a kinyan, that he's doing a kinyan to be magnet to the person. So it's extra kinyan over here. So from the base medrash of Rav, they said in the name of Rav, we put it, it's like two horses, two different horses. We're going to see in a second what that means. And Shmuel said, I don't know what to paskin, and we're going to see what that means. So the base medrash of Rav said that we put on two horses, meaning it also has a din of a matnas bori, and it also has a din of matnas chimera. What does that mean? It has a din of matnas bori. They're like a matnas bori if you get better. If a person who's healthy gives a matona, he can't change his mind. So also here, since he added a kinyan to the normal matnas chimera, if he gets better, he can't be choizer. Not like we normally said in the mission about shchimera. And it has also din of matnas chimera because if he said that he's giving the loan that someone owes him to someone, it works even though that bori can't do that. The only way is to do it b'mamad shloshtom or with a special kinyan, but no with a normal kinyan. And here with a normal kinyan it works. Why? Because it has a din of matnas chimera that you could do extra things. So that means we put on two horses, I mean two contradiction horses. In one hand we call it like a bori, in one hand we call it like a chimera, depends on what. And Shmuel says, I don't know what to paskin in this case. What's Shmuel's suffix? Because Shmuel said, since he wrote the kinyan, I'm choishish that maybe he never meant to be magnet him only by shtar. Because he wrote down a shtar and he did the kinyan, maybe he means I want to be magnet with the shtar. And there's a problem. Because there's no, when does the matnas chimera work? When the person passes away. But once the person passes away, you can't give a shtar anymore. It's too late. Ein shtar lachamisa. And therefore, says Shmuel, I don't know what to pass it. I'm a sophic here. Maybe he meant to be magnet after he passes away with the shtar. And the shtar doesn't work after Misa like we learned earlier on in Baba Basra. Says the Gemara, I have a steer of Rav to different din of Rav, and I have a steer of Shmuel to different Shmuel. The Rabbin sent from Eretz Yisrael, and then I think it means from Eretz Yisrael, from the name of Ravo, that he said that you should know that Rabbi Loza sent to the Golus to Bovel in the name of Rabbeinu, that's Rav, that what Shchimera said, write a shtar and give this money to Ploini, he died. You don't write the shtar and you give it. So it contradicts to what we said before. The Rav said that you do give it when you write down. And the reason why over here, because maybe the magnet only be shtar, and there's no shtar lachamisa. That's what Shmuel said before, not a Rav. So it's a steer on Rav. And in Rav Yehuda, the name of Shmuel said that the halacha is you do write down the shtar and give it to the ploini after the person dies. And that contradicts what Shmuel said before, that we meant only lachamisa and ein shtar lachamisa. So says the Gemara, yeah, it's a steer Rav on Rav, Shmuel on Shmuel. Says the Gemara, no, Rav on Rav is no kasha. Because before when Rav says you do give it, it's somehow he did a kinyan. And therefore, it's no lachamisa. But over here, he didn't do a kinyan. And since he never did a kinyan, we're choshesh, it means only lachamisa. And therefore, ein shtar lachamisa. And therefore, we don't give it to him. And Shmuel on the Shmuel is not kasha. Because, says the Gemara, because it's talking about before Shmuel's talking about a normal case, like we learned, Shemara that he wrote a kinyan, so we choshesh maybe means lachamisa. Here it's talking about b'miyapes koicha. Miyapes koicha, that means he gave a normal matna shemara, and then he added on to make this kinyan, this shemara stronger. I'm also writing the shtar. So that means to normal shemara, and it's only adding on. So if it's adding on, it means lachamisa. Okay, but we have also the normal matna shemara that works. And therefore it's no problem. And soon we can explain what it means mi'apes koicha, what's a loshon that's different to normal kinyan, how it's mashma. But basically he's just saying it's an add-on. It doesn't mean that it's actual kinyan, it's only add-on, except that my matna shchimra that I'm giving, I'm adding on also a kinyan. Rav Nachman, the son of Yitzchok, was sitting behind Rava, and Rava was sitting in front of Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman was the rebbe, and Rava was the first row, and Rav Nachman Yitzchak was the second row. So Rava asked Rav Nachman, did Shmuel say what we learned at the top of the page, at the Ridach Hashash, that when you write it down in a shtar and you do a kinyan, that you maybe wasn't maknet only b'shtar and in shtar lachamisa? How could it be? We know that Rav Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel, that Shchimra, who wrote all his nechosim to other people, even though that he did a kinyan, if he got better, the Shchimra, he could be chayza. He could change his mind and say, I want this back. Said the Gemara, Kufn and Beis with Beis. Why? Because we know that the whole reason why he did the kinyan was because he was dying, he was a Shchimra. But now that he got better, so he doesn't want to give it away. He didn't die, he wants it back. So Rava asked basically Rav Nachman, what's mashma from here? If he got better, he could change his mind. Mashma, if he dies, the kinyan schal, and the person gets it. And we said that Shmuel says the way choshesh are meant to be makrit only lachamisa, but in shtar lachamisa, it contradicts each other. V'ach v'lei biyodei v'ashtik. So Rav Nachman did some type of sign to Rava, and Rava never replied, he never gave an answer to Rava, he just made a sign. And Rava understood what he meant. So when Rav Nachman got up and went away, so Rav Nachman Yitzchak told Rava, what did he hint to you? What did he tell you with the sign on his hand that you understood the teretz? So Rava explained to Rav Nachman Yitzchak, and he said it means that the case of Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Shmuel that does work, it's talking about b'miyapes koicha, like we answered before the stir between Shmuel and Shmuel, that when it does work, it's b'miyapes koicha. He's adding on, he's saying, I want to matna shchimra, and he's saying, I want to make it even stronger, I'm doing it with a kinyan. So that's, but he wants a basic matna shchimra. So very good, maybe the kinyan can't be chal because there's no shtar lachamisa, but the normal matna shchimra works. And further Gemara over here, how do we know that it means that only yipui koyach, and it doesn't mean the ikka kinyan should be with the shtar? So Rav Chisda explains that it's written in it, and we did a kinyan to add on to make this matana that we gave already stronger, so we could see that the normal matna shchimra, and then we're adding on. So the normal matna shchimra is chal, no problem. That they added on something that's not chal, okay, but we'll have the normal matna shchimra that's chal, and therefore Shmuel's moida that there's no issue, and the kinyan is chal, and the person gets the matana. Let's read the Gemara. Continue. Pshita. כתב לזה וכתב לזה, היינו דחיית הרב דימי אמר, דייטיקי מבטל את דייטיקי. כתב וזיקה לזה, כתב וזיקה לזה, רב אמר ראשון קנה, ושמואל אמר שני קנה. רב אמר ראשון קנה, הרי כמעט נסברי, ושמואל אמר שני קנה, הרי כמעט נשכים רע. והפליגו באחד הזימנה, ומעט נשכים רע שכתו בקניין. צריכה. דית מה בהבא, כמה רב משום דקנו מעיני. אבל בהה דלא קנו מני אימה מודל לשמואל. ואיתמר בהה באה כמה שמואל, אבל באה אימה מודל לרב, צריכה. בסור המתנה אחי, בפומדית המתנה אחי, אמר רב ירמיה, ברב שלחו למיבי רב לשמואל, ללמדנו רבינו שכימרה, שכתב כל נכסיו לאחרים, וקנו מידו, מהו? שלח לו, אין אחר קניין כלום. סברים, מיני קנ"ג עמוד א', אני מלילה אחר, אבל לעצמו לא. אמר לו רב חיסדא, כי עתה רבנו מקוף ופירשה בין לעצמו בין לאחרים. או דקאנה מיני עתה לקמי דרבונה, אמר מה יעבד לך דלא אקנית כדמקני אינשי. So after we read the Gemara, we're going to explain. It says the Gemara, it's pshita, it's obvious that if someone wrote, a Shchimra wrote to give his possessions to Reuven, and then afterwards he wrote to give it to Shimon, and he never gave him the shtar, he just wrote him a shtar. So who gets it, Reuven or Shimon? So that's obvious. That's like what Rav Dimi said, that when Rav Dimi came, he said, a daitik, we had it earlier, that since you could be choizer from a matna shchimra, so you could, once you give it to Reuven, if you give it to Shimon, that means you're choizer from Reuven, and therefore Shimon gets it and not Reuven. So that we don't have no shaila about. What's our shaila? Our shaila is the following. If you wrote a shtar to Reuven, and he gave him the shtar, and he wrote afterwards a shtar to give the same possessions to Shimon, and he gave Shimon the shtar, so there we come to a machloikis. Rav says the first one is zoichenet, Reuven, and Shmuel says the second one's zoichenet, and the Gemara explains. Rav said the first one's koina. Why? Like we said on Amud Aleph, in a place where you do a kinyan and giving the shtar as a kinyan, it's like a matnas bori, and a matnas bori, someone who's healthy can't change his mind once he did it. So once he gave it to Reuven, he can't change his mind. And Shmuel said the second one's koina. You know why? Because it's like a matnas shchimra, and we don't, that they gave him the shtar doesn't make any difference, and we say daitiki mivateles daitiki. On that the Gemara asks, why are the choyle Rav Shmuel again? The choyle, it's exactly the same achloikis we had at the top of Amud Aleph. Matnas shchimra, that's no normal matnas shchimra, that's said in the kinyan. The Rav says it's chal, and it's like a matnas bori that you can't be choyle. And Shmuel says, I don't know what to paskin. And Tosis over here asked that the Chura, it's not Kasha on Shmuel, because it's not that Shmuel said it already. Actually, on Amud Aleph, he says something else. I am Tosis. But we're going to continue. Said the Gemara, no, we needed this argument again. Why? Because if you'd have only what it says on Amud Aleph, Shchimra that wrote a kinyan, you'd say over there Rav said because he did a kinyan. Over here they didn't do a kinyan, he just gave him the shtar. Maybe he admits to Shmuel that it means to say that the shtar should be chal only la'achar misa, or that's considered no matnas shchimra, and he can't be choizer, and he could be choizer. So therefore Rav needs to come also over here and tell us that the din applies. No, in such a case where you write a shtar and you give it over, it's like a kinyan, and therefore the first one's koina and the second, and you can't be choizer from it. Continue the Gemara, and if you'd say over here, just 1 second. If you say over here, if you talk about the machlokes on Amud Aleph, over there Shmuel said it, but over here maybe he's moida to Rav. That's why you need both cases. Until it learns that really we're not talking about Shmuel, because Shmuel wasn't really the Shaila, the Shaila was mainly from Rav. Said the Gemara, Besura, in Surah, a place in Bavel, they learned the way we learned this last thing that we just learned. That's how the Rashbam learns, that's going on the last thing that we learned, that if you wrote a shtar and you gave it over, so we learned the Machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Yes. But in Pumbedita, it's another place in Bavel, they learn it different. The Rav Yirmiyah Bar Abba said that they sent from the base Medrash of Rav, and I saw someone explaining that it means after Rav passed away, to Shmuel, and they asked him, please Rabbeinu Shmuel, teach us what the din a shchimra who wrote all his nechosim to other people, and they did a kinyan. So they also wrote it down in the shtar, they also gave the shtar over, and they also did a kinyan. So this is stronger than just doing a kinyan or just writing a shtar and giving over. They did all possible things of kinyan and giving over the shtar. What did they? So Shmuel sent to the Beis Medrash Rav, and he told him that after such a thing that he also wrote the shtar, also gave over the shtar, and also did the kinyan, that's it. It's too late to be choizer. That means you can't give it over. Once he gave such a thing to Reuven and he wrote it in the shtar, gave over the shtar to Reuven, made the kinyan to Reuven, you can't change your mind. So they thought the Beis Medrash thought to say that's only to give it to Shimon, you can't change your mind. But to yourself, that means if the Shchimra got better, he could get back what he gave and he wrote in the shtar and he did the kinyan. And he could change his mind. So Rav Chisda told them, no. That when Rav Huna came from Kufri to place, he explained that what Shmuel said, it means doesn't matter for himself and doesn't matter to other people. That means like once he gave it to Reuven with a shtar, giving over the shtar and a kinyan, you can't be choizer from Reuven. So also if the Shchimra himself got better, you can't be choizer because he did a very strong kinyan and he gave the shtar. Therefore it's a full matana. Said the Gemara, a story, a person who was a Shchimra and he did a kinyan, he wrote a shtar and he gave it over and he did a kinyan. And then he got better and he wanted to be choizer. He came in front of Rav Huna. So Rav Huna told him, what can I do? You didn't do a normal kinyan of Shchimra that's only saying it, only writing a shtar. You also wrote a shtar, you also gave it over, you also did a kinyan. In such a case, there's no way going back, and even though they got better, you can't get back your possessions. This week is Parshas Chayesora, and it talks about the shidduch of Elazar, the Shatchin, who goes to get a shidduch for Yitzchak, and he goes and he does a shidduch, and it's interesting that we have Yitzchak's shidduch and Yaakov's shidduch that they're very different. Yitzchak's shidduch is more traditional, orthodox shidduch with a Shatchin Elazar, and Yitzchak doesn't know the Kala, and they meet and they don't really love each other, they get married, and then he brings her to the tent and he falls in love later on, or he builds a love later on, Vayaver Yitzchak, later on, only after the marriage, because he doesn't really know her before. That's one way. And then we have Yaakov's shidduch later on in the parashas, where Yaakov sees Rachel and straight away he says Vayaver, straight away he loves her, a type of like, how we call it, a goisha, type of love at first sight, without a shatchin, and they get married, and they both have very good marriages. You see from here, Maise Avos Simon Abonim, that there's different types of getting married. You can do for a shatchin. Some people get married, they see a woman in the street and they like her and they get married, and it also works. We should all have a very good Shabbos with lots of Tzuras Tovos and all the sorrows of Am Yisrael, of Kichlal, and each prat and prat in Am Yisrael have sorrows should be better, and we should be zoicha legeula shlema koreh b'yomeinu mamish. Thank you very much.